How do I find a new job? How can I make a career change? And the biggest question of all, can I really find a career that I love? Hey, my name is Jen Smith, and I believe career success doesn't have to be at the expense of living a radiantly happy and healthy lifestyle. As a former HR leader and recruiter turned career coach, I get what companies are looking for when hiring top talent. What that means for you is an unmatched combination of insider knowledge and the best kept secrets about making heart-based career changes and navigating the ups and downs of job searching in today's world of work. Whether you're a recent graduate navigating the job market for the first time or a seasoned professional ready for a career change, this show is for you. So grab your coffee or your kombucha, pull up a seat, and get ready to be challenged and inspired to move beyond your self-doubt and take the right next steps towards landing a career you love. Because you deserve a long, radiantly happy and healthy career. This is the Flourish Careers Podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the Flourish Careers Podcast. I'm Jen Smith, your host, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. We are going to talk about something I think we all need this time of year, which is moving beyond the usual year-end checklists, performance reviews, and New Year's resolutions to focus on what matters. We want to acknowledge how far we've come, reflect on our lessons learned, and make space for what's next. This isn't just about going through the motions of an annual review. It's about pausing, reflecting with intention, and setting heart-based goals that align with who you are in this season of life and career. So whether you're sipping your morning coffee, driving to the office, or out for a walk, let's take some time to explore how you can turn your goals into impactful and intentional progress. Now, I've put together this guide to help you through this process, and for me, it's been a game changer. I do this every single season, and it's really shifted how I approach my career and life. So before we dive into the steps, I want to take a moment to talk about gratitude. Now, you might be wondering, what does gratitude have to do with year-end and goal setting and resolutions? Well, actually, quite a lot. There's a fascinating study out there called Why Gratitude Enhances Well-Being, and they asked students to participate in a 2-month goal-setting study where one group counted their blessings, another group focused on their struggles, and a third group did nothing. They just did natural activities. After 10 weeks, the students who participated in gratitude were the closest to achieving their goals. Isn't that incredible? And it's only 10 weeks. In 10 weeks, by focusing on gratitude, you can start achieving your goals. So the takeaway here is that gratitude enhances your effort toward goals, which tells me so much of this is about mindset. When you focus on the positive aspects of your career, it energizes you and keeps you motivated much more than dwelling in the negative. So for today, here's what I want you to start with. It's my favorite ritual called Gratitude for Growth. And it's very simple, yet very effective. So let's begin this year-end check-in by appreciating the growth you've experienced. And then from there, we'll move into setting those heart-based intentions. So here it goes. There's 4 categories. First is flourish in your achievements or your experiences. Second is cultivate your connections. Third is grow through learning something new. Fourth is nourish to flourish, body, mind, and spirit. So let's break this down even further. Step number 1, think about your flourishing achievements this year. So I want you to list your accomplishments, big and small. Personally, I like to go back through my calendar or sometimes even my photos or my planners and just take a look at things that have happened. And then I jot down, what am I proud of? How did I make a difference this year? So maybe you landed a new job and aced an interview, or maybe you finally organized your messy office. All of that counts. Write it down. You're going to be surprised at how much you've achieved. Sometimes we're so focused on what's next that we forget to acknowledge how far we've come. And this is critical for being intentional about our careers and our lifestyles. So once you've written down all your flourishing achievements, step 2 is to think about your connections, your relationships. Who inspired you this year? Who helped you out when you needed it most? Maybe it was a colleague who gave you great guidance or a mentor who always has your back. Take a moment to reflect on these people. And here's a bonus step. Consider sending them a quick thank you note. It doesn't have to be a long letter, just a quick, heartfelt, even text message. Trust me, it'll make their day and it'll make you feel really good too. So you've gone through your flourishing achievements. You've written down your connections that you're grateful for. Step 3 is to reflect on how you've grown and what you've learned. So what new skills did you pick up this year? Maybe you learned how to use a new software or got better at public speaking. Think about the experiences that really helped you grow both personally and professionally. Sometimes growth happens so gradually that we don't even notice it. So this is your chance to really acknowledge everything you've learned so far. Then from there, the final step is to check in with your well-being. How did you nourish to flourish this season? How have you been caring for yourself, body, mind, spirit? Did you take a walk outside most mornings that helped you set the tone for the day? Or did you try meal prepping and notice how it made your work week so much less stressful? Notice all of these things. Capture what you did for yourself. So those are the 4 categories: flourish in your achievement, cultivate your connections, grow and learn, and then nourish to flourish. So now that we've walked through each of those categories, the most important part is to pause, acknowledge, and celebrate your commitment to work and well-being. You've done a ton. And if you don't pause to recognize it, it's so easy to forget and just race through on autopilot to the next thing, especially at year end when all the things are going on. So as you reflect and review, please be honest with yourself. Notice, what do you want to do more of in the coming year? Or what could you do less of? What activities really filled your cup or your energy, and which ones have been draining you? Once you've done all that reflection and gratitude work, it's time to switch to a forward-thinking mindset and set intentions. Now, these are not any old goals, of course. We are talking about heart-based aspirations or intentions, which means these goals are heart-centered. They're in harmony with you and your core values. They're energizing. They light a fire in your belly. They're agile. So we want to check in the next 90 days to see where you are. Things are moving so rapidly in today's world of work. We have to be agile. They're rooted in rituals. So what practices do you put into your day-to-day in order to make sure you're staying on track? Tiny little rituals, morning and night. And then finally, tiny actions. So we accomplish our heart-based goals through taking tiny action. So we've used those 4 categories to do our gratitude for growth reflections. Now we take those same 4 categories with a forward-thinking mindset and set our heart-based intentions. So again, first category is flourish in what you want to achieve or what experiences you want to gain. This could be in your career, your personal life, your health, wherever you feel called to focus. What gets you excited? What would make you proud to accomplish? And we're not talking 5-year plans here. We want something that's achievable in the near future that you can be excited about every single day. Maybe you're more into experiences, which is really cool. So what kind of experiences do you want to achieve? Maybe you want to learn something new, like picking up a musical instrument or learning a language. How about an adventure, like a hiking challenge or visiting a new city? Perhaps you're ready for a new role and want to work in a different department at work. Or maybe you want to dive into a different culture, whether that's through travel or right in your own community. Now, here's the fun part. I want you to imagine how you'll feel when you achieve this goal or have this experience? So close your eyes, as long as you're not driving, and really picture it. What emotions come up when you achieve this? Is it joy, pride, excitement? Where do you feel it in your belly? Maybe you have a warmth in your chest or there's a smile across your face just visualizing it. How does accomplishing this intention change how you see yourself? This visualization is so powerful because it connects you emotionally to your goal and it makes it real and tangible. But don't stop there. Think about how your daily life will be different once you've reached the goal. So how are your routines going to change? Are you going to approach challenges differently? Maybe you'll start your day differently or you'll have new confidence in something that you've been working on. So the idea is to really paint the picture in your mind. And remember, it's not just about the end goal or the achievement. It's about the whole path that it takes to get there. And I would love to encourage you to document your progress along the way. Maybe it's journaling or taking photos or even sharing updates with a friend. Noticing how you're going through this path to achievement and celebrating the wins along the way is going to be really powerful throughout your progress. So that's the forward thinking for your achievements. Now let's talk about your network or your relationships. In this digital world, real human connection is so incredibly valuable. So I want you to take some time to think about who you want to connect more with in the coming year. Maybe it's family members that you want to be closer to, or former friends and colleagues that you've lost touch with. Perhaps it's colleagues you admire or people in your community that are doing work you're interested in. Select 2 or 3 people and consider how to deepen those relationships. Could you set up regular coffee dates? Maybe collaborate on a project together, attend an event together, or introduce them to someone else in your network. The key here is to be intentional about it. So put it on your calendar, set reminders if you need to. These connections don't usually just happen. We really need to intend to nurture them and focus on how we want to cultivate our communities. Now let's talk about growth and learning. So for this next season, what's on your learn list? This is your chance to think big. Maybe you want to master Excel formulas or learn to speak Spanish or finally figure out how to make that perfect sourdough bread, which I can never figure out how to do. So write it all down and then again, pick 1 or 2 things to focus on in the next few months. And remember, of course, the goal is not perfection. It's about progress. Noticing that you're making small progress along the way. I don't know about you, but for me, learning something new can be challenging. So I always have to remind myself of that. But it's also incredibly rewarding when we expand our minds and our brains and take in new information. Now, finally, let's talk about nourishing yourself. It is so easy to neglect our well-being, especially when we're focused on our careers or taking care of others. But here's the truth. Taking care of yourself is necessary. Honestly, none of this other stuff matters if you're not taking care of yourself. It's what allows you to show up fully in all aspects of your life. So consider how you want to nourish your body, mind, and spirit this season or next year. Maybe it's about eating more nutritious foods or moving your body in a way that feels good to you. For your mind, it could be practicing mindfulness and being present in the moment or eliminating distractions so you can be more present. For your spirit, it could be about reconnecting with your values or spending time in nature. So the idea here is to jot down again 2 or 3 little activities for each category that genuinely nourish you and be honest with yourself. Don't write down what you think you should do or what you see on social media. Write down what actually feeds your spirit and your soul. Now, if you're feeling creative, why not create your heart art? So take all these beautiful intentions and create a visual. Research shows that people who visualize their goals are 1.4 times more likely to achieve them. Plus, it's such a fun way to spruce up your workspace and have a reminder of your goals in a creative way right there at your desk. And guess what? No one needs to see it. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to even consider yourself creative. It's just about taking what you want to achieve this next season and making something beautiful that's a daily reminder. Now, here's the critical part. We must take action. But if you know me by now, this is not about taking huge leaps. It's about breaking it down into small, manageable steps. For example, let's say you want to learn Spanish. Maybe your first step is to download a language learning app and use it for 5 minutes a day. Then maybe you want to add a goal onto that. Like you could say, by the end of the season, I want to be able to have a 5-minute conversation in Spanish about my hobbies or something like that. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. When we break it down like that, it's much easier to digest and do. So think about the contrast there. If you just say, okay, I want to learn Spanish by the end of the season. Okay, great. How are you going to do that? Then if you say, by the end of the season, I want to be able to have a 5-minute conversation in Spanish about my hobbies. It's much more digestible, doable. It's just a 5-minute conversation, and it's about your hobbies. So you know what kinds of words you're going to want to be focused on in learning. So by breaking things down into these tiny manageable steps, we are able to accomplish them much more effectively. And of course, if you don't know by now, I love the 5 minutes to flourish time hack. So if you haven't heard me talk about this before, it's very simple. The idea is to set a timer for 5 minutes, take a deep breath and set an intention to do one thing to benefit your future career or lifestyle. So pick one of these manageable, tiny tasks from your 4 categories. When the timer goes off, decide if you want to continue. If you're feeling motivated, keep going for another 5 minutes. If not, that's okay too. Celebrate that you did something no matter how small. These tiny actions will add up. I think about compound interest and how that adds up over time. The same thing when you take consistent, tiny action. Now, I should say consistency is a big piece of this. So you can't just do 5 minutes to flourish once a month and expect magic to happen. It's got to be on a consistent basis, and you need to prioritize and show up for yourself, which is hard to do. That's why committing to just 5 minutes in your brain allows you to think how doable just 5 minutes is. Now, I want to mention, since we're at the end of the year, you might want to take this a step further and select a theme as we move into the new year. I want to share a personal story here. Last year, I chose play as my guiding word for the year. At first, it felt a little weird. Shouldn't I be working harder, not playing? And I had all of these questions in my mind about it. But I stuck with it, and guess what? It literally transformed everything. So I started approaching challenges with curiosity instead of dread. I experimented more, let go of that perfectionism. There was this surge of creativity, and I felt like work was kind of like an adventure. I collaborated with a small group, and we started using the hashtag, "We get to call this work." And it's just, everything just felt so much more enjoyable. And of course, this was not every single day, every single project. There was lots of ups and downs, but having that theme of play in the back of my mind through the whole year was really fun. And surprisingly, I felt like I accomplished so much more this year than in the past. So to me, that was a little bit of a testament that says when you enjoy what you're doing and your work is generating your energy and you're having fun, you're naturally more motivated and will accomplish more. And to me, that's really the intention of heart-based goal setting. So it gives your path meaning and momentum and aligns your actions with how you want to feel. So as we move into this new season, ask yourself, what intention or what word will you set to guide you? How do you want to feel as you navigate this next season of life and work? This is your chance to go beyond the resolutions and anchor into a sense of purpose that'll carry you forward with intention and maybe even a dash of fun. So, with that, my friends, here is your last 5 minutes to flourish challenge. Choose a guiding word or phrase for the next year. It could be anything: growth, harmony, courage, joy. Whatever resonates with you. Write it down, keep it visible, and let it guide you throughout the year. And remember, there's no perfect choice here. It's not written in blood. You can definitely change it, but I would encourage you to at least give it a shot. The most powerful intention is one that genuinely inspires and motivates us. And the real power comes not from just choosing the word, but consistently returning to it and letting it influence your decisions and actions throughout the year. And as you're doing this whole process, be patient with yourself. This isn't about judging where you are or where you aren't. It's about showing some grace, some gratitude for yourself and what you've done, and setting yourself up for a year of growth and fulfillment, creating this vision for your career and your life that excites you. And lastly, remember, you don't have to do this alone. Share with a friend, find an accountability partner, or join a community of like-minded professionals. Support can make all the difference in achieving your heart-based intentions. That's a wrap for this week, my friends. I hope this check-in helps you reflect on your achievements and set meaningful intentions as we step into the new year with clarity and purpose. If you found this helpful, please consider leaving a review for the podcast. It helps more people find us and join our community. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you next week.